Okay, this is part 6 of my video series where we look at uh, the one out of maybe billions, perhaps trillions of things that God created, and we disprove evolution and the Big Bang theories, which leads and narrows it down in this world that there's only really one other conclusion a logical and rational mind could come to in this world, and that is a creator must exist. If you only have like three big options in the world, that the Big Bang theory, evolution, or a creator, I can't prove to you through science that God exists. And I explained throughout the first 5 parts many times that there's never going to be any scientific proof that God exists. Why? Because when God created the world, the universe, he had to make sure that there would be no scientific evidence that he exists, because you have to have faith to believe in God. You understand it? If there's any scientific proof in the past or now or in any generations in the future uh, would run across scientific evidence of God, it would destroy faith. See? Do you understand what I'm saying? It would become a scientific fact, and faith would now be destroyed. You wouldn't have to have a little bit of faith to believe in your heart that God exists, because now you just have scientific fact that he exists. And now the Bible would be untrue. A lot of verses say you need faith to get your prayers answered. You need faith to please God. You need faith to believe in Jesus Christ, his son, to be saved. Well, now if you have scientific fact that God exists, faith gets destroyed. It becomes irrelevant. Do you understand the logic here? Therefore, God created the world, the universe, in a fashion that he made it so man would never find any scientific proof that he exists. He had to. Do you understand? Otherwise, faith is irrelevant. So if you're waiting for scientists to come up with scientific proof that God exists, you're wasting the most valuable thing in your life, time. You really are. And unfortunately, a lot of people that get into the scientific part of life think that science is above, the spirituality or religion. They think that they take a downward view on religion, and unfortunately, they let their ego and their pride really get distorted and become really big. And Satan will use your own pride to lead you down your own path of self destruction. Do you understand what I just said? Pride is a very self destructive force in people. It's probably the most self destructive force in a person. And if you don't think so, look what it did to Satan himself, and look what God has to say about human pride. Do you understand? Do you really think billions of people in this world are really that ignorant and that stupid? That says a lot about yourself. Science is not the end all be all. The word science is actually in the Bible 2 different times. But I could go on and tell you things, but I'm just going to keep this video short, okay? Uh, Everything you see in this world is created. It didn't evolve. The Big Bang Theory, in my opinion, is closer to what took place when God spoke and these things came into existence on the particular days that he created these things. He doesn't talk about every little thing in the Bible. He couldn't. Do you understand? He just couldn't. He talks about main things, like when the moon was created. The moon was created on the fourth day. The sun was created on the fourth day. Some people think that when he said, "Let there be light" on the first day, that he created the sun on the first day. You need to read the Bible very carefully. He created the sun on the fourth day, not the first day. When he said, "Let there be light" on the first day, he was talking about spiritual light. That is invisible spiritual light, meaning awareness, a truth, and understanding. Do you understand? An awareness of truth, a wisdom, understanding. He made spiritual light, spiritual awareness or truth first before he made anything physical. He made things in order. Do you understand? He started with making truth. He established truth and an awareness of truth. Do you understand? First, before he made anything else. You see how he had to do that first. Do you understand? Anyway, if you read the Bible carefully, he did these things. I'm sure there was a big bang when he made the earth out of nothing. Bang. And all the complex systems in the earth. Do you understand? I'll give you an example. Like the moon is much easier because it's less complex than the earth. Okay. When he made the moon on the fourth day, he made the moon to look very old. He made it with craters that are already in it that we can see through our Hubble telescope. And you can kind of see that it's pitted, with your natural eye, you can kind of see it's got dark spots. The moon never spins. You always see just the same face of the moon. It never spins. We never see the dark side of the moon. Now, if you want to look at some of my other videos, I'll get into what the moon symbolizes. I don't want to get into that on this video. The moon does symbolize a spiritual entity. The earth does too. So does the sun. So do the stars. So does a falling star. You can look at my other teachings to understand those things. Anyway, the moon was created with pits in it, with craters already in it on the fourth day. It was not created nice and smooth. And then it took millions of years for asteroids and meteorites to hit it, accidentally and put pits in it and craters in it and make it look like millions of years old. God made it on the fourth day to look like asteroids had hit it for millions of years. Do you understand that? He made it look old on the fourth day. I can make antique furniture. I could take a new piece of wood and beat it with hammers and chains and this and that, and then make it look distressed and make it look like it's 100 years old, but it's actually brand new. That's what I'm saying. We have the ability as men and women to make things look old, but they're brand new. Look what Hollywood does. Hollywood has the ability to make movies, and then in the background of their movies, they make it look like the Old West, but it's a studio backlot. It's really not an old town. It's, what I'm saying? It's a facade. Okay, do you understand? The moon is not real. None of this is real. Okay, do you understand? None of this is real. Okay, in the sense that it did not evolve. It did not take millions of years the moon did not take millions of years to get all these crater holes in it and pits in it and asteroids hit it and meteorites hit it and falling stars. It was created on the fourth day to already look like that. And then stars were made, and some stars and asteroids are set into motion to make it look like, well, the possibility of them hitting it is great because look at there's stuff moving around up in space. This is an artificial world, an artificial universe. It's not real. It is created. It did not evolve through millions and billions of years. We live in an artificial world. It's synthetic. Do you know what synthetic means? It's created. It's an artificial terrarium. As a kid, I don't know if you're a kid and you got a turtle and you put them in an aquarium and you put branches and leaves in it, and maybe you made a little pond in it with rocks, and the little turtle thought he was living in a natural setting because this is where he came from. It's like that. It's like man is living in a terrarium, so to speak. Okay, that might be hard for you to swallow. Do you understand? But what I'm telling you is the earth did not evolve. It was created. Think of the word created. It did not evolve and get bigger from a little bean and an explosion and time and space and black holes and quantum physics and all this stuff. Do you understand? It is created. Poof. God created it on the days he created it, okay? That's hard for your mind to wrap your mind around that, but it is what it is, see? It's synthetic. It's not real. Do you understand what I'm telling you? It is created. I'll keep saying that. It's created. It's not, it did not evolve and get bigger after millions and billions of years, and mountains started shifting and all this stuff happened and the continents split it and this and that. It just, God created it and then put it in motion to make it look like these things might have happened. Do you understand? He made monkeys and apes to make it look like evolution might have happened because they look very similar to man. He did all these things, do you understand, to make it look like we evolved, to make it look like a big bang happened, because he had to erase any evidence that he existed. This is a synthetic world. It's merely created for us as physical beings to have a physical world. But don't forget, you have an invisible part of you too. Your spirit, you have a heart, not the organ that pumps blood, your spiritual part of you, your soul. You are a soul. You have a heart with all your rich emotions of sorrow, laughter, of joy. Do you understand? You have a mind, not brain matter. I'm not talking about the physical brain matter in your head. I'm talking about your mind, your spirit, your heart, your soul. That's the invisible part of you. Do you understand? For the most part, your soul is always in your body. You understand? But I'm not going to get into this thing about your soul. Sometimes can be in hell, can be in heaven too. God can put your soul in hell as you live. This is a let's put it this way. God is more real than you, and he's invisible, spirit. The spiritual part of you is more real than the physical part of you. The real you is the invisible part of you. This physical part of you is less real than the invisible part of you, okay? I'm talking in circles here a little bit, but who is the real you? It isn't the physical part of you. It's the invisible part of you, the person inside, thinking. People sometimes say things they don't mean. They're nice to people, but they really hate people, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? The real you is a spiritual person inside. I'll say it again. The invisible you, spirit, is more real than the physical part of you. Put it this way, how do you see? Most people say with your eyes. You don't see with your eyes. Dead people have eyes. They don't see anything. What's missing? Their soul. How do you hear? You hear with your ears. You don't hear with your ears. You hear with your soul. Dead people have ears. They don't hear a thing. They have ears. You don't hear with your ears. You hear with your soul. You see with your soul. You are a living soul. Read Genesis. When God breathed into Adam's nostrils, he became a living soul. You don't possess a soul. You are a soul. You see with your soul. You hear with your soul. You feel with your soul. You are a soul. This is just a costume. It's dead. It'll return to dirt someday. Do you understand? Anyway, so the invisible part of you is the real you, your spirit. Do you understand? The physical world which you live in is an illusion, so to speak. Do you understand? I'm not saying it's an illusion. It is less real than the spiritual world. Do you understand? Heaven is more real than this place. God is more real than this place. This is a synthetic world. It was merely created because we were created in a physical body. So God made a physical world in which we could live to serve God, a physical place. But it did not evolve. It was merely created, but he created it in a fashion where it looks like it's been around for billions of years. He just did it that way so it would throw us off that he existed, because then it forms faith. Do you follow what I'm saying? He had to make it in a fashion so we would question whether he existed or not. He had to, because it creates an atmosphere that you would have to have faith, a little faith, to question, does he exist? Does he not exist? Does he exist? Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Well, I believe in my heart he does. See? Blind faith. Because there's no physical evidence of God. Think of the word physics. Stephen Hawkins and this and that. Physics. Physics is in the word physical. Okay? Physics, people that are into physics can only deal with the physical world. They can't prove anything about the spiritual world, because they can only deal with physical things. That's why they're all, but the problem with them is they're so narrow-minded. They only have tunnel vision for physical things because they're into physics. The word physics is in physical. Do you understand? So they exclude the other half of the human being, which is spiritual. You are both physical and spiritual, see? And physics don't even get into the other half of the human being, the spiritual part, see? And that's the trouble with science. Science doesn't even want to deal with the spiritual part of the human. They act like it doesn't even exist. And then they put science up on a plateau and say, well, everybody that's a scientist must be a superior human being than the rest of us. And that's where pride gets kicked in. And then people that are scientists or physicists or they're in quantum physics, they start acting like they're just a notch better than a religious person, say as a Christian, maybe a Jew. And that's what really messes up a person's life. Pride is something that will lead you down a road of self-destruction. Evolution is just a theory. There's no basis in reality to it. It's a theory. It's unprovable. There's no evidence to it at all. And there's never going to be, because it's, number one, it's not true. Number two, there's no evidence to it at all. And God has a great sense of humor. To make monkeys, chimpanzees, if you ever go to the zoo, they pick their nose and, do other things that are just human-like too, and have little hands and noses. And like I said, God has an awesome sense of humor. You have a sense of humor, don't you? God is very funny. He is. Do you understand? Anyway, so that's the great mystery. I went a long ways in my video here. I took one thing, an orange and an orange tree, all led by the Holy Spirit here. About a couple months ago, my wife and I moved to Florida about last April, and there's orange groves everywhere. Everywhere you look, there's orange trees, and right now they're coming into a harvest season. And I slowly learned about oranges. And we were riding down the road. We were going out to dinner, and through the Holy Spirit, all these wonderful things started to come out of me. And my wife was trapped in the car with me. And I started with all this stuff. I do this to her all the time on purpose, because she can't. If I do it at home, she can walk into another room or go outside. So I do this in the car on purpose to her. And out came all this stuff. It just flowed out of me, and every bit of it was true, and so much of it was so beautiful. And that's what began this whole series about the orange and the orange tree. And it's all true. But this is the greater truth is, none of this is real. It's all synthetic, but it's all beautiful. The taste of an orange is so sweet. The navel oranges we love. God made these beautiful things. He created them. They didn't evolve, but he has a system, that of what he created, He created all these seeds. If you look at the beginning of the Bible, you'll see that he actually had all the seeds all over the world. He had planted them, all the different trees, all the different fruit trees, all the vegetation, the plants, the vegetables, everything was planted, but it hadn't rained yet. So all the seeds were planted, all the grass. Could you imagine all the grass that blankets the earth? Everything, all the pine trees, all the trees that give out oxygen. I mean, I could go on and on about the attributes of other trees, you know, not fruit trees, the ones that give out oxygen, the whole system here. It's all a system. It's all this master plan with nothing wasted. Nothing's wasted with the fruit tree. You know, when you eat and then you defecate, even your feces is fertilizer. You know, when a cow eats, they defecate and it fertilizes the grass that they eat and it grows better. The whole thing is a cycle where nothing is wasted. Everything has value, even the dung. Only a mastermind could have created things like that, where everything has value to it, even poop. Okay, that's the great mystery. I hope you made it this far, and I hope this video series inspires you to believe in God, helps you believe in God, to have faith in God. And past that, beyond that, I hope it leads you to believe in the ultimate truth, in the Lord Jesus Christ, his Son. There are many lies in the world. The worst lies are always very close to the truth. Okay? They do the most amount of damage. Do you understand? The worst lies in the world are always very close to the truth. They're hard to detect, and they do the most amount of damage. Do you understand? Jesus Christ is the truth. He's not a truth amongst many truths. He's the truth. That means everything else is a lie. Anyway, I really do hope that this video series helps you in some fashion along your way of self-discovery of who you are, and also who God is and who Jesus Christ is too.
Searching for some freedom, searching for some freedom. So I intend to sing them songs to spark memory. So what is a man with no history? Who am I? Where am I? What is this place? We're just spinning in space. I will be light, yo, 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 yo. I will be light, oh, oh, oh. I will be light, oh, 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 oh. I will be light, yeah. Lights out, time will continue without you. So in the end, it's not about you, but what did you do? Who do you love? Sit beside you, or beside you. Many died in the name of vanity. Many died in their mind's eye for justice. We died for you and still do. So I say to you, this is nothing new. I will be light, yo, 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 yo. I will be light, yo, oh, oh. I will be light, yo, 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 yo. I will be light, yo, oh, oh. to shine, to shine. Burn away the darkness, you got one tiny moment in time for life to shine. Burn away the darkness, you got a tiny moment in time for life to shine, to shine. To burn away the darkness, you got a tiny moment in time for life to shine.